Hey everybody, thanks for joining me live. I'm just gonna give everybody a few minutes to get on. Sorry, the light sucks here. I'm upgrading. I got a light now. So let me just tell you what we're doing. A lot of people have been asking me questions since we had our last workshop in February about negative energy. And if you weren't at the live workshop, I'm not going to do the workshop, but what we spoke about was feeling negative energy that's not yours. You know, sometimes feeling like you have to leave a room because you just feel like you have to get away from someone, you have to get out of a room because you're picking up on something and you're not quite sure if you're just crazy or, you know, if there's something to it. And I think that we all know that everything is energy. And if you don't know, then I'm going to tell you again today, everything is energy. And you don't need to be with a person to pick up on their energy. Somebody could be thinking about you and you're picking up on their energy. You could be reading an email and picking up on energy. And, you know, if it's not as high a vibrating energy as you have, then energies are always trying to match. And so your energy is going to come down as theirs is trying to come and match yours because they want to be way up here where you are. And so it's going to have to match. So there's this constant battle of energy. So as people are realizing this, so some questions have come up about empaths. And I would need to do a whole class on empaths because empathy, everyone's heard the word empathy. We are empaths, picking up on energy. And if you are highly sensitive, then you pick up on it more than other people. People are asking questions about energy vampires. Sounds like a terrible name, a terrible word, but it is what it is. It's someone who's trying to suck your energy, someone who wants your high vibrating light energy. And they're not even consciously maybe doing it. And it's probably someone that you know. It's probably someone you work with, someone you live with, someone in your family. So I want to talk a little bit about that, how to teach you the difference between good and bad, or I shouldn't even say good and bad. It's positive and negative energy, different kinds of energy vampires, and how to deal with it. And so we got a few people here now, so I'm going to get started. And I'm also going to post this later, so if you're not on live, you can go back and listen to it. Because I think it's important. And we're in March, so I probably won't have a live workshop in March because there's so much going on weekends, and I'm actually going away for the first time in a long time, like for a non-business. So we'll probably pick up again on a live workshop in April, but I will be doing the free meditation in March on the new moon, which is like this week. So be looking for that. So, I just want to say, starting off from an intuitive standpoint, when we talk about energy, okay, we're talking about lives. We're talking about the energy that we give off and the people give off back to us. And if you feel that, you stand next to somebody, this is a good test, stand next to somebody, you can feel the vibes coming from them. And they either feel good and they feel comforting and energized, or they feel like your energy is starting to feel drained and you feel tired and, you know, your energy is bottoming out. And cross-culturally, there are different words for this energy. It's been called chi, nam, prana, shakti, bioenergy. And all it is really, it's the subtle energy field around the body. And, you know, we also call it an aura in yoga and in spirituality. We refer to it a lot as an aura. Unfortunately, traditional medicine doesn't have a name for it because they don't think it exists. So what I'm talking about here is the energy field around the body. And it's usually a colorful light. There are people that can actually see it. I have a friend that can see energy. She can see it even when she goes food shopping. She can see it like in the meat. Like she knows by the color that she sees on the aura of a meat, which one she should buy or not. It's crazy. Like, I wish I could see it. And you can, a little, like, if you really look at something and kind of just, like, close your eyes a little bit and just, you can sort of see something fuzzy, like a white light or something. You'll see something around something, and that is the energy field around that person or that object that you're looking at. So I just want everyone to get used to the idea that we have these beautiful energy fields around our bodies, and they extend inches to feet beyond our body. So everyone around us walking down the street is a light bulb. And this is another good way to test yourself to know if you're picking up good energy or positive energy or negative energy. You can use your intuition, and everyone has it, and we don't always pay attention to it. More likely you can feel it, and you begin to feel it with your own intuition in your own body. You know when something's wrong in your own body, and you have to trust that. And once you can trust that, then you can extend your intuition into other areas of your life. So we have this light coming off, and it's not something that we can see with our linear mind. Like I said, we kind of have to just use our intuition, kind of feel, use your gut and the openness in your body, and then you begin to feel it. And when you begin to acclimate yourself to the notion that we all have this energy field, you'll start noticing when you walk into the bank and you're approaching a bank teller and you're talking to your spouse, or you're doing the most mundane activities. It's quite eye-opening to be able to know that you're much more than your material bodies, and how much this has to do with your relationships. Sorry, I'm just reading a question here. So when we begin to sense this energy, we begin to factor that into our relationships. That's where I'm going with this. And we can make them more positive, because once we understand this, that it's not someone intentionally trying to irritate or piss us off, that it's just an energy field that is trying to match our vibration, then we can understand that person more, and it can actually help us in our relationships with everybody, with our spouses, with our significant others, with our children, with our coworkers. You're going to be making, better decisions before you might have normally said something that you might regret. You might, think about that before you say it. Sorry. I forgot to shut my ringer off. Shut your ringer off just in case. So what I want you to do is, when you're looking for a relationship, normally what we do is write down what we want and what looks good on paper. But I want you to also start to sense that energy in that person. Because if you're looking for a mate and she or he looks great on paper, but then you're around this person and you feel exhausted all the time, you don't want to marry this person. You don't want to move in with this person. So it's more than just what looks good on paper. So my message is to you is, don't wait that long. Don't wait until you're walking down the aisle and get a flash of energy that something's not right with you. Start to play with this now. Have faith that your intuition is working, and play with it. I just want to give you some signs. I'm going to give you some signs of what to look for when there's positive energy and negative energy in others, okay? Because this is one of the questions someone's asking me. How do you know? So as you're going about life in relationships, and really take heed in this, okay? I want this to be fun for you. I just want this to be a fun exploration of energy. Just exploring the invisible world of the energetic geography, I guess you could call it. So begin sensing what people give off in positive ways and what people will give off in negative ways. So you're smarter about relationships. So certain people give off positive energy and others give off negative energy. And that is also reflects the measure of love in the way that they live their lives too. and can reflect where they are temporarily in that moment in their life. And so some signs that's positive are, number one, when you're with someone, they exude an inviting sense of heart, compassion, and support. Number two, you feel intuitively safe with this person and you want to get close to them. Number three, they emanate peacefulness and a glow and you can feel it. Number four, you feel better around them and your energy and optimism increases when you're with them. So when you're around people for these kinds of, look for these intuitive signs in yourself so that you can begin to see who the positive people are in your life. And this is important because we need to have a circle of positive people in our life to support us, to boost our energy, and to help us get through. And hopefully we can see these positive people in our friends and loved ones. And when they exude this positive energy, we feed and nourish ourselves. So, you know, they're just energy transmitters, and the energy that we give up, we attract back. So when we're positive, we also send them positive energy, and it's just going back and forth, and you're just affecting more and more positive people. On the other side, here's some signs to look for in negative people. And again, this isn't anything to say about that person. This isn't to say that, like, they're doing this on purpose. This might just be where they are in their life. Something might just be going on and they're not doing anything to you on purpose. I'm not trying to say that. If you experience a sense of being demeaned, constricted, or attacked, that's probably, you know, negative energy. If you feel intuitively unsafe when you're with this person, or tense or on guard, you may notice taking a few steps back from someone when you're around them. That's definitely a sign that you're around someone with negative energy. If you sense prickly, putting off vibes, then you can't wait to get away from them. That's definitely a sign. Your energy starts to fizzle. You might start feeling ill. So I believe that negative energy can have a huge impact on our well-being, on our relationships. It's very intense. It can only make you feel tired. It can not only make you feel sick, and a lot of times, like, chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia, things that doctors can't pinpoint a source or a remedy. It's some mystery symptom that they've been running from doctor to doctor with. Nobody can find a cure. I think that just being around, negative energy all the time can actually physically bring these symptoms on to people and be detrimental to your health. So it's really good to understand when you're around someone positive and negative, which leads me to the next question that someone asked. How do you know if you're an intuitive empath? So I want to talk about a very important energetic phenomena that affects your relationships called intuitive empathy. And I have a great interest because I am an intuitive empath, and I did not know that, until about 10 years ago. And what an intuitive empath is, and see if you can relate to this, is somebody who is so sensitive to energy that we often absorb it into our body. We get exhausted by it for no reason. Like, we know we had enough sleep, we didn't do anything strenuous, and we're just wiped out. It can be with friends. It can be just walking down the street. It can be around crowds of people. You're that energetic receptor or sponge, and you're an energetic shock absorber where everything comes into your body and you process it, and it can make you exhausted. And I'm presenting intuitive empathy as a positive trait and a gift because you are aware of it and you're not just going around life just thinking something's wrong with you. But you need to know how to handle it and use it as a positive gift. So I'd like you to just be aware of some signs of being an intuitive empath so that you can look for these in yourself, and you can see how they have an impact on relationships. Because if you're an intuitive empath, you need to know about this. Intuitive empaths often avoid relationships because they feel that they're overwhelmed or engulfed by them. Or if they're in intimate relationships, that can be very draining for them until they learn how to negotiate their needs, which is super important. And for someone who's not an intuitive empath and doesn't understand this, it can be very frustrating. It can be frustrating for you, it can be frustrating for them, and it could even ultimately end a relationship. So I just want to ask you the following questions to see if you're an intuitive empath. I want you to ask yourself, 1, have I been labeled as overly sensitive? This question is one that many intuitive empaths need to ask ourselves, because everyone is saying, oh, you're so sensitive, in a very derogatory way, you know? Number 2, is a friend distraught or in physical pain? When that happens, do you start feeling it too? Intuitive empaths are also sponges for friends' pain, and we get around them, and our friend is going through anxiety, and then all of a sudden you feel anxiety in your own body. And I know I have twin sisters, and I know that happens to them, so I know that happens a lot with twins. But that's another trait that intuitive empaths have, that we pick up other people's pain and anxiety. And sometimes we feel like we don't even know why we're feeling anxious. We just all of a sudden have like the stress in our body, and it's like, where'd that come from? Like, I don't feel like anything's going on in my life. I don't know. But that's another sign that you're an intuitive empath. And these are good things to understand, so that you know you're not crazy, and you can learn how to, work with it and deal with it. Number 3, am I drained in crowds? Am I going out of my way to avoid them? Do I tend to not go out? I know I went from like going out when I was younger and just feeling tired and drained all the time, not wanting to go out anymore, until I understood this little more. And even still, like, I used to love going shopping. I mean, what girl doesn't love going shopping? But sometimes I dread going to the mall. Like, I would rather just, go online and buy my clothes and take my chances that they fit. It's crazy. But usually intuitive empaths don't like to be around a lot of people, because they're so overwhelmed by their vibes that they're picking up, and they just want to stay home alone. So that's another way to know if you are an intuitive empath. Number 4, do I get anxious in packed elevators, airplanes, or subways? That could be another thing too. You could be claustrophobic, but it is also a trait of an intuitive empath. Number 5, am I hypersensitive to noise? Do I sense an excess of talking? Many intuitive empaths who've been labeled with chemical sensitivity need to have a lot of understanding for this ability in themselves. Chemical sensitivity is a very negative word, but what it means is that when an intuitive empath goes into an elevator, and the elevator is filled with perfume, say for instance, or cologne, it feels like you're being nuked. And I know a lot of people that just can't be around certain smells, even like the lightest powder, deodorant, I don't know. That's what it feels like to be an intuitive empath. They're so sensitive to smell that they sense very strong perfumes, and it feels very destructive and draining and overwhelming to their bodies. And I just want to tell everyone that this is a reality, and we do perceive energy this way, through smell. Another thing, do I run to the refrigerator and overeat when I am around someone's negative energy? So where I am a health coach as well, this is a good question that I like to ask a lot of my clients. Do you tend to run to the refrigerator when you're around people, when you feel like you maybe you don't know you're around negative energy? Maybe you are. That might be a reason that you're overeating. And if people get to understand that these things are all connected, and maybe you are dieting correctly and you're exercising correctly, and it could be something such as this that is just, that's that one missing link, So this is serious when it comes to problems and stress in relationships too. Often people have the tendency to run to the refrigerator, and this is not overeating. It has to do with compensating for negative energy. So it could be at home. It could be when you're watching TV and you see negative relationships. It could be, that as an empath, they are going into your body and subliminally, I can't say it. You might not have any idea what you're doing. Intuitive empaths typically put on a lot of weight. And even though they've done diet after diet with the best intentions, that weight just stays on, because the energetic element of overeating when you're around negative relationships needs to be looked at. If you're in a negative relationship and you tend to overeat, it's probably potentially could be not an issue with you overeating. It's an issue that you're in a negative environment or around someone negative. And yes, food acts as a buffer for intuitive empaths, and it does keep negative energy at bay, but it's an unhealthy coping mechanism for empaths, and it's one to be aware of. And when I speak to clients and groups, I bring this up because this one has to do with maintaining weight. And obviously, like I said, I'm a health coach, so it's important. But there are many people whose eyes light up and they're like, oh my God, like, why have I never heard this before? Nobody's ever told, because doctors don't know. They don't believe in this stuff. And that's why I'm telling you, and I hope, if you know someone and you might be listening to this, that this could help, that you tell them or let them, watch this or listen to me or contact me if they have any more questions. Intuitive empathy, I want to share, is that it always allows you to keep your heart open and to have compassion for another person, which obviously is a good trait and a loving trait. It's a form of deep intuition that allows you to connect with yourself and others in life in general. And this is an extremely beautiful thing, and it's a talent and a gift, and it's really, could take care. It's a good thing to take care of. But now, relationships might have special needs if you're an intuitive empath, and the most difficult parts of Hey, Shelly. Empathy for me have been living with somebody or being in an intimate relationship with someone in that same space. So I want to talk about when you're living with someone and you're an intuitive empath and how to take care of yourself. Okay, when this person, even if they do understand, you can say, I'm an intuitive empath. Explain all this to them and they still might not get it. So I just want to give you some suggestions of what to do. So you're going to need to negotiate your own space. And this is kind of something that I'm working on right now. You need to negotiate your own space that you can go to as an empath. You need to learn how to negotiate your own energetic needs in relationships. You don't have to avoid them. A lot of intuitive empaths stay single because they have no idea how to negotiate their energetic single needs. There are many women and men who are yearning to be in a relationship, right? And yet year after year, they're not in one because they're afraid of getting involved and just subliminally, like they don't even know this is why, but they stay out of relationships because of this. But once an intuitive empath knows how to negotiate their space in a relationship and how to talk about their sensitivity, then it creates a bond so deep that understanding can be made, and it's so beautiful. And when a partner does understand this about you, it's a very deep relationship. So this is what I'm going to teach you. How to get thrown off by other people's energy, to be vulnerable yet strong, and not have to shut down, but be able to stay open and around the energy and learn not to be drained by other people. So identifying energy vampires. I see you question. This is one of my favorite topics. It's amazing where the drain comes from and how many people are being drained by others and have absolutely no idea what to do about it. So I want to introduce you to what an energy vampire is and how to combat them so that you're not drained by energy vampires and so that you have more energy in your relationships. And one of the main places where people lose their energy is in relationships. And I understand it, I'm amazed by it, but is that many people go years and years of being drained by vampires who might be relatives, bosses, etc., and tolerate it as normal. And so what I'm trying to convey to you here is, in this session, what an energy vampire is, how to recognize anyone, what to do about them, because once you have these skills, then you won't be so prone to being drained by the energy of others. Sorry, it's snowing out. I didn't know what that was. It was a plow. Okay, so I'm going to tell you my, excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you my definition of an energy vampire. It's someone who sucks your energy dry And you need to use your intuition to sense this, which I talked about earlier. It's not something that you can grab with your mind. Your body's intuition will tell you, for instance, if you're at a party, okay, and you're talking to somebody and he or she may be looking like perfectly nice on the surface, and you're standing there and you're talking to them and your energy just starts bottoming out and you're starting to feel a little seasick, a little drained, a little tired from talking to this person. There may not be an obvious cause. The conversation's going great. But when you're in that situation, the linear mind comes in and tries to talk you out of it, right? And says, you're just tired. Maybe you had too much to drink. I don't know. It says things like you might be coming down with something, or you're so neurotic, and just chill out and have fun. And I'm here to tell you that this phenomena of energy vampires is real. And I'm asking you to trust your intuition and to validate it and not just blow it off, okay? Because what happens is that a person can be standing there and you could be standing next to an energy vampire. Your energy's bottoming out. You're afraid to excuse yourself, get out of the situation because you're afraid of being impolite. Because I know I've done it, and I bet a lot of you have too. And this is a hindrance of taking care of yourself. And self-care is what's going to help you. It's what's going on in your mind. And as you're being drained, this whole dialogue of convincing you why this isn't happening and why you need to stay there. And what I'm saying is that for energy vampires, this is real. You need to use your intuition to gauge your energy level. And when you're around someone who's draining your energy, it is appropriate action to deal with it. I want you to trust yourself with people at the deepest level. And we'll talk about what kind of energy vampires there are and specific techniques. But to begin with, I just want you to take a look at your life. Begin to analyze people who give you energy and people who drain your energy. And what I suggest in the beginning is just making a list. And this has to be absolutely honest. And don't be afraid to list people that are close to you in your life, because those are usually the ones that are draining your energy, and they're not doing it on purpose, okay? It's totally subconscious. It's energy. They're not like out to get you. You can't worry about hurting other people's feelings or what will they think. This is your own private list, and I'd like you to make a list, be honest about who the drainers are in your life. Take a look. Is it family? Is it your mother? Is it your father? Is it your brother? Could it be cousins? Could it be coworkers? Could it be friends? Someone you love very much, but they still drain your energy? Just write down these people in your journal so that you can honestly assess where your energy is going. And you'll be able to see what type of energy vampires they are and what to do about them. So when we often experience energy vampires as children, this is another question. This goes way back. I mean, we're kind of like born empaths. We all are. Some people just pick up on it, and some people just walk through life not knowing and just dealing with it and living with whatever they're dealing with. The key is that you're listening to me and you're dealing with it. You know that you're open to it, you're prone to it, you're acknowledging it, and you're going to take care of it so that you can live your best life ever. So a lot of us experience energy vampires as children, and these vampires come in the form of like very loving parents. They don't mean to be vampires, some of them, and yet they are. My mother would say these little zingers to me like, you have such wild hair, why do you wear those clothes? If you only wore different clothes, you would look so much thinner, you would look so much better. Now, those kinds of comments, just get to you and make you feel about 2 inches tall and drain your energy. And I want you to realize those words have energy. She didn't mean to hurt me. She loved me with all her heart, right? And yet still the unconscious part of her, okay, the tape that was in her head would say things that would be so hurtful to me that, in fact, I felt so damaged in the area of clothes that it has taken me years to feel comfortable with going shopping and actually finding clothes that I feel comfortable with and not hearing my mother's voice. So these energy vampires can say things that are zingers, that drain your energy, and that really take a long time to get over. So it's important, even at whatever age you're at right now, is to realize this. It's never too late. So what I'd like you to do is, when you're taking the inventory about who your energy vampires are, is to really go back to your childhood too, okay? And take a look at, like, what did my mother say? Because this goes way beyond your childhood and comes into your adult life. You know, what did my father say? What do I remember in terms of words, behaviors, or any other kind of activity that might have drained my energy? And then at this point, just ask yourself, take an inventory of this so you have a clear idea. The thing about the energy is that it's very, very sensitive. And when you look at subtle energy fields of the body, and you look at a child, being a child, the subtle energy field is open and it hasn't had any experience with the world. And when you have an energy vampire in your life at a very young age who spouts these zingers at you, like I was telling you, it can damage your energy field in a certain way. It depends. I mean, it could be something as simple as what my mother said, or energy vampires can range to a greater extreme. You could have an alcoholic parents. You can have abusive parents, verbally abusive, physically abusive, and this damages the energy field of a child. It's really serious. And so you carry this with all of your life until you begin to heal it. So start now. You're here for a reason. I'm doing this video for a reason. You're asking these questions for a reason. I'm reading these questions as I'm talking to you. So of course the point is healing it, and I'm just bringing this up to show you to the extent to which energy vampires can really affect your energy field. And you may not even be aware of how your childhood affected your energy level now as an adult, and things that didn't really seem to mean much at the time because you didn't know any better, how they affected you your entire life. And now I want you to have that consciousness, and as you're doing this, I'd like you to look back at the people who gave you that energy so that you have a clear sense of where the positive energy came from as well, and where the negative energy came from, so that you can really be tuned into yourself, tuned into areas that need healing and areas that need repair, so you can have the maximum amount of energy now in your life. And I want you to be aware of certain signs to watch for when you encounter an energy vampire, okay? Because when you know the signs, you notice it right away, you can take action immediately. So here are some signs. Does my chest tighten every time that a certain person enters a conversation? Is there a certain person that makes my chest tighten every time they step into a conversation? Do I run to the refrigerator and stuff myself after an interaction with someone? Do I need a nap after hanging up the phone with someone? Do I have a headache? Do I feel queasy or slimy when a guest at a party starts talking to me? Does my energy bottom out at family dinners? That's a big one, right? Meetings, social gatherings, dinners, holidays. Do I feel attacked, criticized, or blamed in a relationship? Is a person so needy or clingy that she or he seems to stick to me like flypaper? Big one. And I'd like you to consider all the signs and notice if any of the people in your life feel qualify for any of the things that I just said and make you feel like your energy is being drained. These are very graphic descriptions, and they're not meant to be unkind. It's just simply a subjective experience of what energy vampires feel like, so you can be aware of it. And I want you to watch for these signs. But the thing with the intuition, I'm sorry, I'm just reading this right now. So the thing with your intuition means you have to be in the moment, not in the past, not in the present, which is why I ask you to make a list. Write it in your journal of the people and the times and the things that seem to suck your energy, the people that seem to suck your energy. Because when using your intuition, you're in the now. Journal when you're in the about all of this when you're not in the now, because using your intuition requires you to be now, being in the present, being aware of what your reactions are and being ready. And I don't want you to be taken by surprise by energy vampires. You want to be able to quickly assimilate what's happening and take action so that you're not drained. And this is a very positive coping skill in life, so that you can, take notice of it in yourself. But if you're in your head most of the time, then you're simply looking at what a person looks like on the surface. You might miss the signs and explain them away. And that's not using your intuition. That's not being in the moment. You may be at a party. You might be talking to someone who looks perfectly wonderful, is very intelligent and funny and seems like a great person. But again, your energy is just bottoming out. Now, this happens quite frequently, especially to the intuitive empath, with people who are so sensitive that they absorb, the energy of others, like I said. And the problem with being the intuitive empath around the energy vampire is that it can be a very lethal combination, because the intuitive empath, who's undefended and doesn't know how to set boundaries and protect their energy, can be drained by this energy vampire. And on the subtle energy level, what I sense and what I see is that literally there are little tentacles, I don't know what the word is, that come out from the energy vampire to the other person who might be an energy empath, okay? And these tentacles literally suck the energy right out of them. And it's absolutely real, and it can cause incredible damage, like we talked about before. It can cause health problems like anxiety, depression, and all kinds of mystery symptoms. So I guess I don't want to go on and on, because I know we're almost on 40 minutes here. I just want to make the point that most energy vampires are not doing this maliciously or intentionally. They're doing this subconsciously. It's how they've been taught to behave, or how they've been conditioned to behave. So don't take it personally. Don't think someone's out maliciously trying to attack you, because usually they don't know that they're doing it, or it's the way that they were brought up. I just want you to be aware of it so that you can protect yourself. I want you to be aware of the signs that we talked about. They usually feel like they have a lack of energy. And if they think that they subliminally need to suck your energy because you have good, high vibing energy to feel better about themselves, then what I've observed with energy vampires, why people become energy vampires, and I just want to say, if there are those out of you that you think you might be energy vampires, I think that it's a wonderful thing to just be aware of and know about yourself. That you just need to honestly lighten your energy. You need to meditate more. You need to rid yourself of the negative energy that's around you that is bringing you down, so that you don't become an energy vampire, so that you can release this negativity from your body, from yourself, so that you're not doing it to other people. And like we talked about in the last workshop, there's a couple different methods that I use to lighten my energy. Oh, that was pretty, huh? To rid yourself of negative energy, and I'm not going to go into all that right now, and we can do that again. But my biggest suggestion is to meditate, to lighten your energy, to be in the present moment, to journal, and to just fluff up. I've said this 100 times. I know it sounds ridiculous. Just fluffing your aura. Just fluffing your aura. It's there, whether you see it or not, whether you believe me or not. Everybody has an aura. And just fluffing it just lightens your energy. And just going down from your feet, and just you just start feeling lighter. Take a deep breath before you go out, and take note of who the people are around you. Take note of who you're hanging around with, who you're conversating with online, who you're emailing with, who you're talking to on the phone. Do your best to protect you. And just being aware of the fact that this is even going on is so huge, and it's going to help you. And thank you for your questions. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm sorry it took so long. We'll get deeper into this, and I will be posting a workshop for April with a guided meditation, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. And thanks again for hanging out with me. I will post a copy of this on my Facebook page and on my YouTube page. So if you guys want to just take down my website, I'll also post it below this. It's just KimberlyKorner.com. So KimberleeKorner.com. Sign up for my emails and I will send you notifications when I'm going to have these live events, when I'm going to do videos, when I have anything awesome that's going on that I want to tell you about. If you're interested, sign up so I can legally send you an email. And I look forward to seeing you, talking to you, and thanks again. And I will see you soon. Bye, guys. Have a great day. Stay warm.